Are you going to talk about it or be about it? Social media today, every single time that we go to our page, and it's one of the, I think it's one of the great things about social media, but it also can be, it can get a little tiring in your news feed at the same time, right? So to me personally, it can be a little bit of a drawback, right? And what am I talking about? I'm talking about the people that want to talk about it versus being about it. I've seen lately a few different places where, people, a few posts, essentially with the message of, how about you just go away for a year and you be about it. Like, you just go do the work. You got things that you want to work on. You got goals that you are going after, and you just go do the work. You don't shout from the mountaintops. You don't tell a bunch of people what it is that you are going to do, and you just go do it. And then if you want to come on the back end and celebrate and show some of the results that you've went out and done when no one was watching, when no one knew what you were up to, and you just simply went and did the work instead of sitting there and talking about it and telling people what you're going to do. But because here is what happens the majority of the time, people will sit and get excited and tell people what they're going to do. They talk about it. They might even go out and be about it for a moment of time, a period of time, and then realize that they bit off more than they could chew. And here's the downside to that is when you're a person that just consistently talks about it and you don't necessarily follow through, you don't take it all the way to the finish line, you don't go and get the result, then you just become a person who likes to talk and not walk the walk, right? And I talk about the integrity bank, and that's telling someone that you're going to go do something, and in their head there's no way that you're going to go do that because of who you've shown up to be for such a long period of time. And yet you're shaking your head yes to them, like, oh, that's amazing, that's great. But in the back of their head, they're like, no way, it's not going to happen, because you talk all the time and yet you don't follow it up with action. You don't back it up with the walk. So let's do less talk and let's be more about it. Like, go do your work. There's people will argue with me. People will say that, you should be shouting from the mountain. You should tell people what you're going to do. You should put it on the line so that then you have the accountability. But what happens is people don't have the discipline to follow through, no matter how much they've been talking about it, because they're used to talking about it. They're used to talking about it and not following through on it. And they get enough dopamine hit from just putting it out there into the ether that they're going to go do it, because people will respond and say, that's amazing, that's awesome, I could never do that. Well, the reality is that person can never do it either, because they don't have what it takes to follow through. So just try this on for a moment. Like, find something that you really want to do, a significant change that you want to make inside of your life. Instead of telling people about it, go do it, and then show up at the end and let people know the results that you've created for yourself, whether it's the 6-pack abs, whether it's the financial freedom, whether it's whatever it is, whether it's a vehicle that you've always wanted for a long time. Which you just go do what's required to make that a reality for yourself. Go get the thing, or go do the thing, and then show people, right? I didn't talk a ton about going to do the Keys 100. When I did Kokoro, Seal Fit Kokoro, I wasn't online talking left and right every single day about going and how I'm going to conquer Seal Fit Kokoro. I just went and did the work. I made the transformation. I showed up. I made it. I was successful. And then I celebrated and I let people know about it. There's many things that I'm working on right now that I'm not talking about and telling people. I'm just going to go and do it and show people. And there's a huge power in showing people through example. There's definitely a huge power in showing people that are really close to you, like your kids and your family, by just being that example, by being about it, because they're watching you 24 hours a day. They're watching you way more than they're hearing you, listening to you talk about it. It's the same thing with everyone on social media. You can get that little that little excitement and that dopamine hit from telling people you're going to go do something big. But can you be about it? Can you actually follow through and do it? People talking about how they're going to do 75 hard, and 2 weeks later, they're consistent for 2 weeks, making posts about, all right, hey, just hit my second workout, going on my third workout. And then all of a sudden, they're not talking about it anymore because they quit, because they failed. And what happens? Now they feel even worse about themselves because they were told people they were going to do it and they fell through. Now they feel like an absolute failure. That defeats the whole purpose in this example of going after 75 hard. That would defeat the purpose, whatever it is that you told people, right? How about we celebrate the 2 weeks of progress that they made just because they missed a workout? Now they feel like the worst person in the world because they told everybody about it. And then they completely give up and they end up worse off than they were when they started. So let's do less talking about it and more being about it. Way more powerful, in my opinion, to show up, to do the work every single day when people aren't around, when people aren't, clapping their hands and patting you on the back for it, and just go do it and be the example and have people start to take notice and actually comment on it before you've even said anything about it, because they see the results. They're like, there's something different about you. Man, you're looking good. Have you been losing weight? Man, there's just the way you carry yourself is different than I've noticed in the past, right? Whatever it might be. It's because you're doing the work, because you didn't go and you didn't shout it from the mountaintops and tell everybody you're going to go do it. You just went and did it. So quit talking about it, be more about it, and see the shifts that happen, the power that comes from within from doing that. And then if you want to let people know about it, not from a look at me standpoint, from a, hey, I accomplished something that's big, that matters. And when you put that out there, people will want to celebrate it with you because they care about you, because they love you. So that's what I got for you today. Quit talking, be about it. Let's go.